All right, let's go. So if you're here, you're probably wondering if you should buy Iman's latest course, Monetize. So I'm speaking as someone who has bought it around 4 months ago. And you can probably look at this video, or you can see in the description, I made a review, which right now is getting a lot of views because people are questioning if they should actually buy it or not. So right now, it does seem to have a $2,000 price point, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, when I'm filming this, it's the second or third day of the webinar that, or event, that's the name of it, that he's holding. Basically, just letting you know what the opportunity is in the digital info space, and also you should partake in it, right? Participate and make money yourself. And I'll go over a couple of things. So I do have a few key points here. I'll try to make this pretty brief, just to let you know if this is something that you should buy or not. So this comes from someone who bought it around 4 months ago at 1.5K. And it was actually the second version of it. So it was slightly improved. So compared to the first cohort, I do think it was a better product. And what does it have? Well, it has the course, the digital product launch formula, or whatever the name is. And then you also have some calls, which are with his community managers, which are helpful. But a lot of the calls are focused on motivation, mindset. So this is where we'll talk in a bit about if you should buy it or not. But what does he promise? Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the promise is you'd make 10K a month with digital products. So we'll chat in a bit who this is for and who it's not for, because what does 10K or around 350 a day mean? Well, it means fairly good income in most countries, depends where you live, but especially if you're in an international place like myself, I'm in Europe. So 10K a month is a pretty livable, and actually, depending on the location, if it's not London, it's probably pretty high, so you can live a good life. And the promise is that he will teach you how to do it, right? So he will give you a map, which is pretty fair, because think of it like going to school. When you go to school, you don't even know the alphabet, but you learn it along the way. So from this point of view, he will give you some info, and it's not useless info, because he is operating at a very high level. So if you were to get learnings about how to launch a digital product from anyone, he will be up there among the best. The only other ones who might be better are the ones who are actually, let's say, maybe not making as much income, but they are better at teaching or actually coaching you directly. Because that's the thing here. You won't really be getting much from Iman. He's busy enough. His days are probably worth not even 10K. It might be 100K a day for him, right? That would mean 36 million a year, which I think he might be making right now. So as you can imagine, his time is really valuable. That's why he won't be joining calls in most cases. Maybe in the first 4 weeks, a few calls where, from what I've noticed, he does have a presentation. So not necessarily the best of the best in terms of how much time is invested from his end. So Iman's track record is very good. He's probably one of the best course sellers out there. So that's why he does have the social proof. And because he has the social proof, the money, he has been able to get very good, let's say, video editors to make his videos look good. And I mean for the course. And same with the team. He has a great team. So you are not getting any kind of bad quality, right? So the question after that is, what are the pros and what are the cons, right? Because there's always a give and take with everything. Do you want more money? Yeah. Well, you have to work more. So here, some of the cons are that you do get a community. And with every pro, I will also mention a con, because as someone who bought, I can let you know what I've seen as being, let's say, supportive for you as a member and what not. So first of all, the pro is the community, which is great. You see other people being around, just like in school or in a work environment. You do get that, let's say, friction, or the correct word might not be exactly friction, but you get to be close to other people who are doing the same thing. So by osmosis, just by being around other people, that's the word here, you are actually getting, let's say, some motivation just by getting other people's energy. So the downside with that is that there are too many people. So not everyone will get the same attention. If you don't ask questions, you won't be getting an answer, right? And some people, even like myself, don't like asking questions when it's a big group, because you know you'll get to some extent a fairly quick basic answer. So that can be a drawdown. And also the con in a community is that you have people at different levels. And for example, as someone who is not necessarily a beginner, right? I already have a business, I have an agency, and many of the people who join in there, and you can notice pretty quick, are beginners. So they're not even making 1,000 a month, right? And then there you are making around, let's say, 10,000. And then there are some who are making or will be making 100,000. And let me tell you why. Because the pros are that if you are someone who already has a digital product, what Iman shares there might actually be helpful a little bit, because he will share a few golden nuggets there that you might not have in your already launched digital product. So someone making 50K a month already will find a nugget that will increase their revenue by 20%. So another 10K to their 50K, right? So that would be helpful. But if you're a beginner, if you have zero, if you have no digital product, and you are not super motivated to create one, well, the course won't help, because it's just like trying to look at a video on YouTube, how to get fit. You will find how to get fit, you will find the video and everything. However, if you don't actually do what they are saying, then of course that you won't really be getting any result. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind. Then the pros. So the content is not bad, meaning that it was filmed, it was scripted very well. However, the con is here that it is recycled content, meaning that it's nothing amazingly new. So it's not something that you wouldn't find anywhere. It's not something that you wouldn't be able to get from ChatGPT. So that's it there. And then basically I was just looking at some of my notes. The pros here are that you might have some accountability, because basically you are in a group with other people, but pretty much you are disconnected. I know someone initially when I joined there asked me if I wanted to get on a WhatsApp group and so on. Eventually they didn't even invite me, so we didn't get anywhere. So that's where things like this don't really go anywhere if other people are not serious and so on. So also need to remember that. And not to make this video way too long, let's keep it around 10 minutes. So who this is for and who this is not for. So I would say that this is basically for someone who is super motivated and or who has a digital product already. If you don't have, let's say, an audience or the personality to actually go through with this, then basically I wouldn't really take it into consideration, just because it will be harder. It will be harder for you to actually kickstart if you're not the type of person that would actually have success on your own, right? Because to some extent you won't be able to push any additional motivation on you or just change your life completely, right? He's pretty good at actually motivating and writing good copy that will get you over the edge. But coming back to the product, actually a lot of it is bonuses. And the problem with bonuses is that they are not that helpful as you might think. And the reason why that is because many of the bonuses are other courses, right? So for example, I can tell you there's also the digital, actually the agency. So it teaches you how to create your own agency, which personally I do have already. So it doesn't teach me anything new necessarily there. And besides that, there's also another course, Consulting Accelerator, because Iman did buy the rights to Consulting Accelerator. So that's another plus. And this is where you have to actually look at the value, because Consulting Accelerator, the product that he has in there, it was selling for, I think, around 6K initially, and now you just get it as a bonus for 2K, right? But the question is, will you actually follow what's there? Because there's a lot of info. You would first have to go through Consulting Accelerator to work on your mindset, I would say. Then you would have to either go the digital product launch or the agency accelerator path and see which one you would want to go after, because you will only have one business. That's very likely. You can do, let's say, an agency at the same time with the digital product, at least not in the beginning. So that's where I would definitely pay a lot of attention to what you'd want to do, and make sure that you weigh this, because for some people, for business owners, for example, 2000 is not a lot. But if you're a student, if you're 18, 19, and you also have school at the same time, then 2000 is a lot of money, first of all. And besides the fact that it's a lot of money, you also might not have enough time and or knowledge to actually implement many of those things. So what I would say is basically just making sure that you weigh this pretty well and see if it's for you, because it's not for everyone. It's not for anyone who doesn't take action. It's not for anyone who doesn't have an audience already, right? And if this is your first time trying something out, dishing out 2K might be too much. So if you don't have way more than that in your savings, I might not take this, although there will be a few exceptions of people who will buy it, will have success, but you need to remember, not everyone will actually be able to. And there's a couple of reasons. You might not be able to focus because of your family, you might not be able to focus because of other commitments, or you might not want to make 10K a month, right? Or at least you don't want it bad enough. So those are some of the things I would say here, but I don't want to make this too long. I try to cover many of the things that I'm thinking of. So this is a pretty raw video, no edits, just shot it while going out today, because I know during this time the MONETISE program is being relaunched, so you need to take that into account. All of the things that I shared, all of the things that Iman shared, but one thing to take note is that he is a great marketer, a great, I would say marketer, not necessarily good at sales, because he does have some help when it comes to that, through scripting, through other people who are joining him. So you need to be aware of that, because I bought it and not sure if I could say I got the value, but it was still helpful. And that's also because I do earn more than that in a month, so it's not really breaking the bank for me. So this is what you need to remember. Depending on your resources, this might just be one of those expenses, or it might actually be a very big investment. And if it's a big investment, you definitely need to think more about it, and this might not be the time, because sometimes it's not the right timing. So with all of that being said, if this was helpful, you can leave a like, you can leave a comment, so this video gets some traction, other people can see it, and yeah, all of you just taking the best decisions that you can. So that's pretty much everything for this one, and until next time, peace out.